welcome back to another episode of the Sistah Talk podcast. I'm your host, Chain Diva. And today we have a special guest. I don't know if I should call him Gold Chain Daddy. But we got a special guest today, my father. Introduce yourself, Dad.
Tearra, Arrington.
Like, tell the people a little bit more about Tearra Arrington. What's something that people don't know about Tearra Arrington?
I love fishing.
So if y'all watching, send my father some gifts for Father's Day. I'm sure he would enjoy that. But it's a special Father's Day episode, so it's no better way than to have my dad here today and join me on the couch, and we're gonna try to talk about some current event topics and give y'all some information that'll help y'all along the way. So what's been going on, Dad? How's your week?
Everything been pretty good. Just doing a lot of moving around this week. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. So the old bones been moving along, huh?
Yeah, old bones moving around.
So you ready for Father's Day?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shoot these knees with some WD-40 and I'll be all right.
So for those who don't know us, how many kids do you have, Dad?
6 kids.
6 kids. And what's the oldest and what's the youngest?
Oh man, you gotta throw me out there. The oldest is 29. I guess 29, right? No, it ain't. The oldest is like 38.
Yep.
The oldest is 38 and the youngest is 14 months.
14 months, y'all. Look, he got a little baby tyke running around. Well, what's been going on with me this week? Your sister has been having a pretty decent week, the past week, because I didn't give you all an episode last week, but that was because I was helping Gold Chain Daddy with his boat. We had a whole experience. I don't know much about boats, but he taught me how to what was that thing called? A bimini top. Yeah, we had a good time out there trying to figure out this bimini top. It took us a little bit longer than we expected, but we got it done. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. Let's spill the tea. Let's go ahead and spill the tea. So this week we missed a lot of news last week that I didn't get a chance to report on, but with the graduation season, I know you all have seen different people graduating from high school, middle school. It's just that time of year where we're transitioning to the next phase of our lives. But there was one particular video that I want to discuss, and I thought it was fitting because I had my dad here today. The video of the man who jumped on the stage and ruined his daughter's high school graduation. So if you all have not seen that video, take a second to watch that video.
Where's Brandon? Get away from me, bro. Hey, no. Hey, go. You need to get. Hey.
What's wrong with that?
You gotta go right now. Right now.
So what were your thoughts on that video? After doing my research, the whole situation played out between Rainey Briggs, who was the superintendent of Baraboo High School in Wisconsin. He was attacked by the father of a student his name was Matt Eddy. And he stopped his daughter from shaking the hands of the superintendent, basically because no other reason than he just didn't want his daughter to touch him. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that the father, messed up a good graduation for his daughter because that was the most proudest moment in her life. And by him doing what he did, the daughter didn't get a chance to experience the whole episode, and then the audience and all booed the father and all. So it was a little hectic.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You have a child that just graduated high school. How would you have felt if something like that would have happened in her ceremony? Like just being a bystander?
As a father, I would be pretty much mad, pissed off to the point where, I would have to go and talk with the people in charge and all, and possibly keep that father from ever returning on school property or any grounds, period, dealing with colleges in that state.
Right.
Because that type of activity shouldn't be allowed. I
agree. And so the father actually did press charges. He pressed charges against, not the father, the superintendent pressed charges on the dad. So basically he has a temporary restraining order against him, saying that he can't come anywhere near him. But just to give you all a little backstory about the situation, the superintendent, Rainey Briggs, he was hired in 2021 following a situation where it was a lawsuit filed by a family of a black student of the same school claiming that she had undergone years of racial harassment in their schools. So when I read this, I personally felt as though he was already coming into a turbulent situation. And as much as, you know, he kind of downplayed it in the media where he was just like, I can't 100% say it was racially motivated. You would have to ask the father that. But I think in the back of our minds, like, we're all like, it was racially motivated. I mean, because he kind of came into that environment where he wasn't accepted in the first place.
Well, you also got to look at the number of people that was on the stage. As the graduate passed them, why did he take and grab the only black man that was on the stage and pull him off the stage? So you got to look at it. It had to have been some type of racially motivation to it, because why he singled out the black man.
Right. And I totally agree with that. Because like you said, it was like 6 people on the stage and he was the only black man, and he went straight towards him and pushed him off the stage. But in an interview, the father actually told the police that there was a pre-existing situation that occurred between his daughter and the superintendent. And they won't go into detail about what this situation is, but apparently the daughter had been in some type of encounter at the school, and they expelled her, and he felt like his daughter was done wrongly. That's what he said. I mean, that's his story, and I guess he's sticking to it, but I don't believe that warrants you, like you said, directly targeting that one person. But he said, like, when the police asked him, he said, I didn't want him to be able to shake her effing hand because he did not deserve it after all the S he went through in this district. And he said the way he acted when his daughter was being charged or almost charged was a bunch of BS. He shook his head and rolled his effing eyes. And I'm just like, I don't know. It sounds like privilege to me. Like, we don't have the details, so I can't 100% say, but it sounds like privilege. It sounds like, you know, this black man, he came into this district. He knew he had his work cut out for him. And he upholds a standard of saying, you know, everybody should feel comfortable. And I think that his daughter got reprimanded for something that he probably didn't feel like she should have. I mean, I hate to say it, you know, so lackadaisical, but I mean, that's just what it feels like to me. It feels like, you know, it feels like he was just upset with the way that this man was choosing the discipline. And it had not been that way.
But you also got to look at this, though. In viewing the clip, as you noticed, as he passed by, I think it was 3 people, then got to him and he ran up there and pulled the African-American male off the stage, the superintendent. You got to look at this. It ruined it because she still had 2 other people or 3 other people behind him to shake hands, and she didn't get the opportunity to even shake their hand because they rushed back to the back to try to figure out what was going on with the man and the superintendent.
Right, right. I mean, if I don't know that there's a right way to handle that situation, but if there were, what would you say the right way to handle that situation would have been?
Well, I think the right thing to do with that is, you know, of course, you in an environment with a lot of children, you also got to take that into account. I think that the superintendent should have kept his composure like he did. I think that the immediate personnel should have been notified to have that individual arrested immediately for laying his hands on him and letting the court system figure it out and deal with it.
I agree. And I feel like at this point, the father, I mean, obviously at this point, he's lawyered up. He's trying to backpedal at this moment, I feel like, because it wasn't an apology on the father's behalf. He had his lawyers apologize to this man. And I just feel like you're basically just trying to cop out. Like, at this point, you're just trying to avoid getting in trouble. But I don't know. When I saw the video, because Cassandra sent it to me first, my older sister, she sent it to me first. And when I saw it, I just couldn't believe it, because I'm just like, wow. Like, hatred in this country is a thing, and it's a shame that you're willing to ruin that memory for your child just for that reason, if that's the reason, because we can't say. We got a lot of details that make it seem that way, but all I can say is I hope that, you know, this superintendent doesn't get discouraged from doing his job. I don't think that he will, because, you know, he's been very stern in his approach. He got a lot of support from like the board members and things of that nature. So I just hope that he just continues to, you know, mount up and get ready for the ride.
Well, as the superintendent of the school, I feel as though it's more appropriate for, like, say, if he got more kids in the school system coming up behind her, that he need to ban this parent off the grounds of all the schools immediately. Yeah. He shouldn't be allowed to attend no more graduations or any other kids or anybody else on account of his actions. After you do something, you can't take it back. You already threw yourself under the bus.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that. I totally agree. And I hope that they do take, you know, some drastic measures when it comes to that. But there was a tweet regarding this situation, because, like I said, rightfully so, people all over the internet are just upset. But there was a tweet by somebody named Jonathan Perk on X. He said, most white people have zero concept of what it's like to be a sole member of their race in a professional setting, but nearly all black people know this feeling. Fact is, it is very likely that Superintendent Rainey Briggs experiences and is forced to deal with racism daily. And the reason why I chose this tweet is because I know you and I have had conversations about this before. And I do think it's an experience that black people have experienced. Like, we all have experienced it. And so we've had conversation about my experience being the only black person in a corporate environment. But I wanted to, you know, just kind of pick your brain, get your thoughts on like your experiences with that and any advice that you would give to somebody who is in that position.
Yeah, I experienced it on my first police officer job. And one thing I say is, anytime you're dealing with racism, always deal with it professionally, because if you don't deal with it professionally, you might get railroaded to the point where they'd start making up trumped up charges to lock you up and all that type stuff. You want to document totally everything that's there, and then you want to speak out on it. Mm-hmm. And the way I spoke out on it is, I brought in NAACP, I brought in a councilman. It was the only black councilman, and I did things like that. And I got the support of people, you know, in the churches and different stuff like that to come in and sit in with me during these times. But that was the first time in my life that I ever experienced something like that. And I think that, you know, the way it's going now, I think that more African Americans is going to be subject to that type of behavior, because right now we're in a time where people feel as though it's okay to speak out and act ugly. Mm-hmm.
I agree. And I know the story, but I don't know how comfortable you are to share, because you told me exactly like what happened, and you don't have to go into extreme detail. But the reason why I want you to, I guess, speak to it a little bit more directly is because when we think about law enforcement, we think that, you know, I guess a black law enforcement officer would be covered by the brotherhood. And so I guess speak to that experience of like, did you feel as though when you became a police officer that you would be exempt from that type of treatment, that you would be protected in that way? Like,
well, I went into it thinking that I wouldn't have to deal with stuff like that, because, you know, this is the modern day, the 70s is over with. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as moving forward, and, you know, I've been in the military prior to that, I never experienced anything like that at all. So coming into that job, I didn't think that I was going to encounter anything like that. But when I did encounter it, it was on a whole different level, where it was the chief of police, mm-hmm. where he thought I was trying to take his job. So he treated me badly, gave me all the worst equipment that he can possibly give me, the hand-me-downs. I mean, and it went so far as that when I actually left the job and then went and applied for a new job, can you believe he went to the Virginia State Police and said that I stole a gun?
Miserable.
And then when it turned out to be, he gave his desk to another officer, didn't clean it out fully, and the other officer found the gun inside the desk. Mm. So Did he call my next job and tell him, I'm sorry, I made a mistake? No. Did he call me and apologize? No. It was, I couldn't even leave a job on good grounds to move forward and move on.
Right.
Without bringing his baggage with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he could have hurt my new career. And like I told the state police of the state of Maryland, I explained to him, this guy made me sign for everything, ink pen and all. He ain't never gave me nothing where I didn't have to sign for. I said, tell that man to show me where I signed on the dotted line for it.
Right.
Because I damn sure enough signed for everything else.
Right. Well, if y'all don't take nothing else away from it, have your ducks in order, okay? Dot your I's, cross your T's, and document. That was the message. But one of the things that you said during that, like, I guess kind of triggered me in my experience was well, he thought I wanted his job. And like, as everybody knows, I'm an open book. I'm in transition right now, but I was in corporate for 8 years and I was the only for 8 years. And I experienced a lot of different torments when it comes to that. And from my experience, I felt like it was always driven from a perspective of, well, I think she's trying to steal my job. And it's like you go in there and you keep your head down and, you know, you try to mind your business. You do your job. You clock out. You just want to go home at the end of the day. But it just seems like that's not even enough when a person just looks at you and just, I think people just see your light before you see it and they just want to dull it. They just want you to like, they want to stifle your growth. That's my personal opinion. I feel like people see it before you see it all the time.
I agree with that. Because the simple fact is, a person that goes in there and do the job 100% right, they treat everybody with respect and dignity. You shouldn't have to go through that because you like more than, say, the chief of police.
Right.
He need to be more into a job where he need to go out and be friends with the community that he police. Mm-hmm. Just because he have that badge on, don't give him the right to overstep his boundaries and treat people and say anything to them that he can. Right.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely, most of the people who are police in these neighborhoods don't look like the neighborhoods they police. And they definitely need to do more to connect to those communities. And I feel as though over the last maybe 5 to 7 years, we have seen a couple of Caucasian police officers who have gone that extra mile to be a part of the community because of the growing number of police brutality situations. We've seen a lot of them kind of step up and want to be connected and feel as though they don't want the community to be afraid of them. Because I feel like in the Black community, like we're scared of law enforcement.
Yeah. And also I would like to say this on the Baltimore City Police Department. I love that job. And one of the things that Baltimore City did was say that they want to hire more people to police people in their own neighborhoods. And I wrote in on a comment that I think that was very nice, that they need to do more of that because the people know their people and know their neighborhoods and all that. And I think that they can treat people with more respect and dignity. Mm-hmm. And I had another officer chime in that was Caucasian and chime in to the fact where he was like, that ain't gonna never happen, isn't that? I met some nice peoples. They was doctors, they was lawyers, they was nurses, they was this, they was that. But not one time did he ever say, I met some average people on the street.
Right, like the shop owner,
the deli owner, mm-hmm. or the average citizen that live in the 2800 block, for example.
Right.
You gotta be able to talk with everybody. Mm-hmm. And get along with everybody.
Right.
And that's one thing that I brought to the table was that I talked with everybody. I treated them with respect. I done my job 100% the right way all the time. Mm-hmm. And that way I never had to look over my shoulder.
Well, look, good advice. Good advice. I'm sure somebody out there, you know, can take heed to that and be inspired by, you know, just doing the right thing regardless of what's going on around you. So, you know, kudos to you. Look, we're going to give you a little hand clap. You can't hear it, but I can. We're going to give you a hand hand clap because, you know, I've talked about this a lot. Like, I'm very transparent. I'm very transparent on all my platforms. So at this point, people know, they knew who you were before you even showed up today. They knew my dad was in law enforcement because I've talked about it. And one thing that I don't think that I ever said to you directly, so I coined this term. So we all heard of white privilege, but I coined a term that I call blue privilege. Okay. Now, the reason why I say it's blue privilege is because obviously I'm a police's daughter. Okay. And I feel, and this is a good conversation. I didn't plan for us to have this conversation today, but as a police's daughter, I feel as though there's a level of privilege that I have that most people don't. And let me explain. The reason why I feel this way is because, yeah, we all, you know, as black people, you know, black mothers, they guide their sons up and say, oh, you know, if you get pulled over, this is how you deal with the police. Oh, if you do this, this is how you deal with the police. But I think that from my experience being your daughter, there was a lot more game that you gave me that the average person don't get. Right. So I always said I get blue privilege because there's been situations that I've been in. I haven't been to jail, y'all, but there's been situations I've been in that I'm just like, if my dad didn't talk to me through this situation, I probably would not have gotten through this situation. I guess this is the part where we're going to get a little personal. So from the story that I'm thinking of, there's two situations, but I don't know how personal I want to get. There's two situations. Well, it's a couple of situations. I promise you I'm not that bad, but there's a couple of situations where I have run-ins with the law. The one that I think sticks out the most to me probably was, I want to say maybe like 7 years ago, probably more or less. I was coming back from New York. I had got that speeding ticket where I was going like 80 something in a 65 or 55. And that was right off top, like points on the license suspended, everything. And I was like, I listened to everybody. I'm like, everybody's like, oh, well, you know, go to court. They barely ever show up. If they don't show up, they're just going to throw it out. So I'm like, okay, let's go that route. Let's try it out. And then I remember, like, I don't know what it was that I think I was just like, Dad, like, I guess I had enough sense to be like, Dad, in case he show up, what do I need to do? And sure enough, this officer was waiting for me at the door. He was waiting for me before before the judge even had his morning coffee. And luckily, I guess because of how I've been coached to, you know, just be personal and talk to them. Because I feel as though if you act guilty, then that gives them a reason to like mess with you and try to figure out why you acting like that. And so I'm more so just moved like I'm supposed to be in this space. I'm not doing anything wrong. That's correct. And I just started talking to him and I said, hey, good morning. He was like, well, this is what I was thinking. He showed up. He said, this is what I was thinking. And I said, you know what you were thinking, that's good. Because if I try to go up against you, I'm going to lose. But you coached me to that situation. I can't remember exactly what advice you gave me, but whatever it was, I know I said exactly what you told me to say. And that was not the first time or the last. That was not the first time or the last time that you coached me on what to say and got me out of some mess.
Well, believe it or not, if you know what the law is and you know what to say and you know how to treat people, half the time you won't even get a ticket. Right. They just let you go about your business, but right. You got to act like you got common sense.
Yeah. Listen. Ugh.
You know why that man stopped you. Yeah. Why would you argue with him when you know why that man
I was going. You? It was late. I was tired. That's normally how it always happens. I was tired. I saw Lancaster. I said, 20 minutes to go. Let's go. And as soon as I came off that ramp, he was waiting right there. I was like, man. But hey, I didn't get my license taken. They took I think I did get 3 points. I didn't get 4. But yeah, you learn and you move on. But I guess I'll let you, from your point of view, maybe explain one of those other situations if you could recall any of my other run-ins with the law where you had to coach me.
Well, believe it or not, I don't remember per se you having a lot of different issues. You know, I don't think that you was bad at all. So like I say, it's hard for me to speak because you didn't have anything serious to talk about. So after I told you about it, it went right over my head and I was done with it.
Right.
So I didn't think that I had to remember it.
No, you don't have to remember it. I just thought for sure you was going to talk about the time where I did that hit and run situation. And they pulled me in that daggone interrogation room and scared the living daylights out of me.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now since you brought it up. Yeah. But you know, what you done was something that all teenagers do.
Right.
You know, you didn't really hit and run. You guys were scared and ran.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah. And I'll never forget because it was the senior year of high school. It was on the day of either prom or homecoming. And I didn't even know that anybody saw me do anything. The police came to the house, put the card in the door. And I remember being so scared. I'm like, oh my God. I think you were out of town. I'm like, oh my God. How am I going to tell my dad that this police dropped this card in the door? Like, what am I going to do? But right. I knew I had to tell you because if I tried to hide it, I would have been in jail. I would have been in jail. There's no way around it.
And as a teenager, you would have lost your license too.
Yeah, it would have been bad. It would have been bad. But I just wanted to talk about that blue privilege because I feel like I've gotten out of a lot of different situations just by how I've been taught to operate.
Handle the situation. Yes.
That's just the simple way to put it. And I got more stories, y'all, but today is not the day. Today is not that day. But I guess on the wave of reminiscing, before we move on to our activity for today, I guess I don't know, because you said like I wasn't a bad child, but I did some things. So I guess out of your recollection, what was a situation? Because we have stories that we laugh and joke about, and I don't care if you share them. I'm not ashamed. But what I guess in my upbringing, my whole 31, almost 32 years of life, what situation, good or bad, that you just remember and you just want to talk about?
I think the thing that stuck out with me the most, because I knew you was letting people drive my truck. And this thing stuck out with me the most. And she didn't know that I knew this, and I set her up to find out about it, but she told on herself.
Yeah.
Now here it is.
Dumb stuff.
You know, everybody know after you get a car and the car start getting old and you get grease from your neck around the seat belt.
Look, don't tell too many secrets because the others might be watching. They still coming up.
you get dirt on the seat belt, you grease on the seat belt, or what have you. So what I did was I say I'm gonna set her up. So I took, being the investigator that I am, I took and etched my initials in my seat belt in the dirt, and I didn't wash it on purpose. And so one day, you know, I was just in there and she came to me and she pulled out her phone. Dad, look at this picture. She was innocent about it, but she told on herself. Because when she showed me the picture, I saw the person driving my truck and he had my seatbelt across his body. So there's no way in the world she could have got out of that one.
Listen, show of hands, how many people drove Big Red?
Probably a ton of them.
Listen, if you one of the people, drop a comment. Listen, I can't get in trouble. I'm 31 now.
yeah, but you know, Big Red was a thing, because I still don't know how you managed to get the clear coat to fall off the back tailgate of the pickup truck. Went out one night, apparently in the field, looked like, because you had grass under the truck. And when you came back, the whole clear coat was falling off the back of the truck. Man. To this day, she never told me the story.
Well, I mean, I'm 31 now, so the details are blurry, but I feel as though the only time I ever went out in the field, was with my road dog. With my road dog. For those who don't know who my road dog is, I'm Bonnie, he's Clyde. You fill in the details after that. But yeah, it was one time we were just parked up, listening to music. Just chilling, like on a little field.
But how did the clear coat come
out
just parked in the field?
Those are questions I have no answers to. I don't know. I really genuinely don't know.
It looked like somebody poured some type of chemical on it and just ate the clear coat off. It was peeling bad.
Yeah. Well, you know, we got plenty of stories with Big Red. Some of y'all may know some of those stories because...
Oh, don't forget about when you kept hitting the pole at the McDonald's. I asked about how you get yellow paint on my wheel well in the back. She tell me, well, I went through McDonald's and I hit the yellow pole. So I told her, you can't drive through McDonald's and without hitting the yellow pole, don't go through the drive-thru, walk in the inside. Guess what? She did it again.
Look, practice makes perfect.
And when she did it again, she said, well, I got to get it right. I said, well, how many times you going to hit that pole to get it right?
However many times it take. Look, apparently. But listen, we got some stories. I just want to let y'all get a glimpse into, you know, the real me. Because I'm transparent, but those are stories that are priceless that, you know, they never get told unless I ask. But we're going to have an activity for you today. You know, I got to torture him a little bit, guys, you know. It wouldn't be right if I didn't put him through a little pain. And
I hate suspense, so please don't hook me up too bad.
But we have an activity where we're going to have you try some things.
Okay.
And you got to guess what they are. And if you guess right, you get a prize. If you guess wrong, it's Father's Day, you still get a prize.
Hey, so win or lose, I win.
Yeah, win or lose, you win. But it'd be fun to see you try to guess. And then we're just going to have a little general discussion about just fatherhood and just, you know, any advice to give the young men coming up.
Sound good.
So hold for just a moment while we get resituated. We'll be back. Well, we are going to try some items out. You ready?
Yeah, free drink. Yeah.
Look, hopefully it's some alcoholic beverage in there somewhere. I don't know. Well, I guess pick a straw. Any straw.
I just go straight across and make it easier.
All right.
What the hell? Good God Almighty. I don't know what the world that is. It tastes like a lemon. Real sour. Yeah, you trying to lock my jaws, ain't you?
Is that your final answer?
I said it got to be something dealing with a lemon.
And you are correct. It's lemon juice. It's lemon juice. Look, I think you... Oh, wait, you could... Well, I guess you could... Don't look at the computer. I didn't realize that you could see it over there. But anyway. So I guess try the next one.
That tastes like strawberry. Some type of strawberry.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer, strawberry.
Wrong. You want to know what it is?
Yeah, I want to know.
Listen, because this day gonna straw long as crack.
No, see, I don't drink that.
I know you don't. All right. Well, before we move on to the next one, we're going to give them a little conversation. What's something as a dad that's your proudest accomplishment? Whether it be as a dad, you know, being a man, like your proudest singularly, or proudest accomplishment with your children.
Yeah. I think my proudest accomplishment is watching all my kids get an education, walk the stages, and yes, move forward with college degrees, getting skills, training, technical schools under their belts or what have you. I think that having all my children that reached the age of 18 so far, being successful. So that's when, if they successful, I'm great and I'm happy.
And on that long journey, what has fatherhood taught you along the way?
Fatherhood taught me don't believe nothing the kids say.
Look, because we all lie. Lie first and then figure out the rest later. All right, well, we'll try drink number 3 now. I think you like drink number 3.
Okay.
And if you get this wrong...
Water.
You had to do something simple to throw you off. Now this next one, we gonna slow down just a little bit. What are 3 words that you would say represent your approach to parenting and why?
I guess discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say discipline, kids don't say it then, but later on in life they'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think another thing would be integrity.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have integrity so that, people can trust you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's about all I can say on that, and I believe the last thing is love.
Mm-hmm.
As a man, I didn't know how to be feminine. Because I'm not a feminine man.
Because out of all of those 6 children, how many of them are boys?
1.
And he came way down the line. So having female children, like, what did you adapt? Like, how did you? Because we're all different. We all emotional as I don't know what. You don't know what you're gonna get at any given moment. So how did you? I guess was it a blanket approach to parenting all of us, or did you realize you had to approach all of us in different ways?
Well, I started off with my first 2 oldest ones the same way. Very stern, no room for mistakes, no room for error, and be the best you can be.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I got a little older, and your kids talk to you, they laugh with you, they cry with you, they let out, Dad, I didn't appreciate this, Dad, I didn't like this, Dad, you could have took another approach with this, and it opened your eyes to something a little bit bigger than what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any gray areas at all. It was either right or wrong. It was no in the middle.
Oh, so you the reason why I think about everything black and white. Okay, now it comes out. Yeah. No, I'm realizing at 31 that everything is not black and white, and there's gray area. You got to be able to be fluid in some situations.
So now I try to treat the rest of them that's younger and give them a gray area.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like the gray area. I just don't like the gray area.
Uh-huh.
Because to me, that's the area for them to get over.
Yeah, and kids will get over if you let them.
Yeah.
I know I tried every chance I got, so it ain't no different with them. What? No, you know what? Before we go into the next one, we'll let you try drink number 4. Actually, no. Yeah, drink number 4. Yep.
Pickle juice.
But I say I knew you would get that one.
Pickle juice.
Without a doubt.
My favorite. Pickle juice.
Without a doubt. Look, I'm trying to make some pickle juice shots with that.
Okay.
Might as well try the last one. I don't know. You might get this one. You might get the last one. You might.
Well, at least none of them was too bad.
Yeah, I didn't do you too bad.
I gotta taste that again.
And it's so funny because no, I'm not even gonna say nothing. I won't give you no hints.
And the bad thing about it is, I drink this.
You do drink that.
I drink this, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is. See, and what happened is the pickle juice distorted the taste of that.
All right, well, go ahead. Listen, here go the water. Get you some water, cleanse your palate.
Yeah, that pickle juice then rock that to the core where it's don't taste the same. I can taste it, but it's not like I'm thinking it is. I would say it tastes a little bit like Kool-Aid.
Close.
Tastes like Kool-Aid. Cause I still taste the pickle juice.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes like a Kool-Aid or some type of fruit punch.
You close. Very close.
That's about all I can think about.
What y'all think? Did we give it the gold chain daddy? Did he get it? Did he get it? It's Powerade. It's the fruit punch.
Powerade, yeah. I said fruit punch.
I know. That's why I said, do we give it to you or not?
Yeah.
I think we gotta give it to you because fruit punch, and you got it right.
Yeah.
I know you drink it. That's what I was gonna say, but you normally drink the blue one.
Yeah, I also drank the red one.
But you more so drink blue. I was looking for the blue one because I knew you would guess the blue one, but I was like, I didn't see it. But, well, you got them all right, except for the one of them.
But see, the pickle juice is so strong, it plays down the taste of that. Where it tastes so watered down.
Yeah.
And you can't get the full effect of it. But I was like, damn, I drank this. I know it's...
Look, that's why I was sitting here laughing, because I know you drink that. And when you said it, I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. So, I guess before we wrap up, there are a lot of young men who did not grow up with male presence in their life that are now fathers. If you could give them any word of advice, it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So we got to say that because men deserve great mental health as well. But a lot of them are struggling with childhood traumas and things of that nature, not having their fathers present. And they're trying to navigate fatherhood, manhood. Any advice on what they should be doing to be the best father, to be the best man they could be? All that.
Well, I think the first thing they need to do is to try to just sit back and take it all in. And just think about what's happening in the present and in the past. What they got to do is first bridge that gap of any trauma that they had and find somebody they can talk to about the matter to clear it off of their chest. And once they clear it off their chest, then they can start the healing process. And what I would say in that is, a woman does good the best she could with raising a child. All children need a male figure because the male brings something that a woman can't bring to the table. And that's not feelings. You cannot have feelings in everything you do.
Yeah, it got to be some type of logic.
So what I say is take a deep breath, young men. Slow down. Stay out the streets. The streets is nothing for you. Take a deep breath. Slow down. Think about what you're doing before you do it. And if you need somebody to talk to, my name is Tearra Arrington, and I'll be glad to give you Tearra.
Look, dial 1-800-TERRY Arrington.
That's right. I'll be glad to give you some secrets.
But this is Father's Day, and we focused a lot on men's health and men's advice. But as a woman that was raised by a man, what is some advice that you can give to young ladies on how a man should treat a woman? Now, I know the advice I got was don't let nobody get over on you. But outside of that, and even including that, what's some advice? How should these ladies be navigating? Because the dating pool is septic.
Well, one thing, women lost their ways. What I mean by that is, it's too many women drinking until they drunk. One, you're not gonna find a man like that. That's just the bottom line. If you come into him with hoochie clothes on, you come into him drunk, you gonna get what you're looking for. Somebody that just want a fast booty call, somebody that just want to party with you, hit it, bang it, leave it alone, or hit it, you take care of him, and it'll work itself out type situation. So my advice to the woman is stop drinking, stop wearing all them see-through. I'm from the old school. Let me imagine what you look like under that dress. Let me imagine what you look like with some tight pants on. Let me imagine that. Because guess what? When I'm imagining that, my love is even stronger. So when I get it, I got it. And I'm like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever had.
Well, there you have it, ladies. That's the advice. Look, that's Gold Chain Daddy's advice for today. Y'all better listen. Because he's speaking facts. I feel the same way. So that's all we have today for this segment. Do you want to open? Well, I'll let you open up your gifts. I'm going to move this box out of the way, though. Give us just a second. Because I don't want to spill all this because he's taking straws as long as...
So I got all of them but one.
Yeah, you got all of them except for the Red Bull.
Because I don't drink Red Bull.
I know. I figured that was the only one you wouldn't get. I was going to mess you up and put some soy sauce in there, but I was like, nah, we're not going to go too far. Like, he entrusted me today to let him try some new things.
Okay, let me see. I'm doing a little peep test. Okay. Let me see what I got in here. Oh man, she treat me good. Got me some little hooks and some spinner baits. Hey,
now hopefully I did good and got some good ones that you're gonna use though.
Yeah. But you know the hooks are so small, I can't even see how to.
And I was going to get the big ones too.
I don't even know how to see. I don't even know how to see to put the daggone line through the hooks. They so small.
They are little.
Yeah. But guess what? I use them though. You know what I mean? All right, let's see what else. Oh man, she got my favorite, Baby Ruths. Man, I love me some Baby Ruths. I'm gonna eat one here and one there. The kids might eat them all up before I get to them because I also got to watch my sugar. That
is true. Look, that's why I got you the bite-sized one, so you can have a little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah. Get my Baby Ruths. And this one right here is my $1 million jackpot here. Oh, sugar now. Okay, I got some deodorant. She must be telling me I stink or something.
Listen, it's summertime.
Oh, it's summertime.
It's summertime. You got to stay fresh. Well, guys, that is going to wrap up today's... Wait, hold on. Let me zoom out because I can't even see myself sitting right there. We're going to zoom all the way up. There we go. Well, guys, that wraps up today's Father's Day episode of the Sistah Talk podcast. I'm your host, Gold Chain Diva. I hope you really enjoyed seeing me spend time with my father. And Gold Chain Daddy, tell them, who you are and all that good stuff. And tell them about your experience. Say bye to the people, all that stuff.
Yeah. See, I'm in here today wearing comic sauce. Promoting my daughter's brand, comic sauce. See, while she was giving out Sistah Talk, I was giving out the sauce.
There you go. And
it was hot sauce. Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first. If you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me at goldchain__diva. And if you need some advice, call 1-800-TERRY Arrington. Have a good night.